Ah! I like how they just scream sometimes. This big mood.
Block B Bastars.
So after 2 long years, Bastars, a subunit of the boy group Block B, featuring B-Bomb, P.O., and Yuquan, has returned with a new EP. You'll be reacting to the title track of that EP called Help Me, released in 2019. The song expresses a sense of loneliness and the need to be comforted by a loved one. P.O. said he was inspired to write this song by his best friend, who is a member of Winner, and his name is Mino. He said in an interview, Mino was ranking #1 with Fiancé, and even so, he didn't look completely happy. He was consumed and pressured by his next project, and I wrote the lyrics while seeing him go through it.
Quantum Pa. Whoa.
Ooh. Ooh.
The effects on the lights is awesome.
I love the octaves.
Yeah. The instruments just sound so, like, they give it such an authentic feel. Like, here's some jazz piano, here's some, like,
Ooh.
like strings playing really low because it's spooky.
Ooh, see, the rhythm was like a little bit off center when they're singing while they're talking about feeling dizzy. Text painting.
That's a very like open sounding sound. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I do these weird things with my hands.
It's got that funk bass in it.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, it's got like this really nice lilt to it, like.
I like how he's playing with that, like, da, 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 and repeating that. He made it kind of a sentence structure. Da, 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 da. Robert De Niro. Da, da, da.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
sex.
Hello.
Sexy sex.
That's a lot of blood.
And the way they auto-tune his voice, like we started with like really authentic like jazz vibes, and now we're with like full auto-tune, like woo.
There's so much going on here.
I like how all of their like vocal styles are really different, so like you get a lot in one song. Like I feel like that was a good pairing. Like I know they put the subunits together really carefully.
Same. There's so much that I dig about this.
It started with a city pop feel. This no longer city pop at all.
What happened there is like you get used to the quarter note and then they like throw in another rhythm that just like kind of jolts you for a second.
Oh, this is the millennial clave.
Okay, so they're going for like
And there's a real bass player, and he's good.
they're going for like a film noir, like Scorsese, like Humphrey Bogart feel for this.
Ooh, chords. Chords are spicy.
Ah! I like how they just scream sometimes because big mood.
I don't know if the sax riff is the same throughout, but if it isn't, which I don't think it is, I really like how it's varying it up. Okay, maybe not. I hear the da-da-da-da. But it's still very good. It sounds different every time.
I'll help you, dude. I'll give you a hug.
Yeah, if that music's playing in the background, I'll definitely help you out. Man,
We go to In-N-Out Burger.
that definitely doesn't happen at In-N-Out. Dude, that bass though, man.
Just like really chill groove.
Dude, yeah.
Really chill. Not too slow. It's like one of those tempos where it's like it's slow enough to where you notice it, but because there's forward motion in the quarter note, you don't, and like there's that lilt, it pushes it along, so you don't realize it's super slow. You're just like, oh.
That's like when you're in like a wedding band, but like the bass player is a jazz guy or girl, and then you're playing like these songs that are usually
they
kind of
make it
square, and then they're just like amazing. You're just messing with. That's kind of what it felt like though. Like the bass player was taking so many liberties. Like normally, like in a pop setting, you'd expect it to be just be like, okay,
It's very
half
bread and
note,
butter.
half note, or like half note, quarter. But this time it was like, there's more like fills going on. It was like they were soloing for the bass line. So really cool.
Sorry, it's really nice. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm tired, but I'm really interested. Yeah.
With the instrumentation and even some of the vocals, there was like a contrast between authenticity, as in like the real instrument sounds they used and like the real voice sounds they used, and then like falseness, like when they like hecka auto-tuned that guy and like used like the synth sounds, and like sometimes they would have those sounds like mixed in at the same time, so that's like being who you are versus like not. That was way out there.
It's interesting because like the imagery in the video, they're all like bloody and like cut up and beat up. They're talking to the girl and they're like, help me. Like the solace and the comfort is like in the loved one. And I feel like I can sort of understand that sentiment, especially when like the work that you do is so, especially as like performers and like artists, like the work you do, it like never ends. Like you always keep learning. You always have, you know, once you improve one thing, you know, 10 more things may crop up. Like it sort of never stops, and it can get really consuming. And a lot of the solace you find will be the friends that you have or like the loved ones that you have. So it's definitely like a sentiment that I think resonates with a lot of people. I thought the song was great. I thought the instrumental solos were really nice. There was like a downward piano riff that happened, which was really tasteful.
Wow, man. That was so cool. Wasn't crazy about all the drum machine parts. I wasn't entirely crazy. There was a little part that was like halftime right at the beginning, and I was like, you haven't earned it yet. Get into the song more. Like, and then once it hits later in the song, everyone's going to be like, ooh, and people are going to go wild up in the club. But like, I thought it was really good. I thought the bass playing was really tight. I don't know who did it. Someone really good. And the saxophone playing was good. I wish they used more of it, but it's okay.
I think it's kind of cool to have like you have like a hint of an instrument you recognize in the background, and you're like, oh, I think there's a sax somewhere. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's also adding to sort of like the references that they're dropping to different like film styles and different musical styles, like to have things like kind of buried in the texture. I think that's really cool.
Instruments were very well picked for this because a lot of the looser grooves, so for instance the bass is very, very spread out, so it's not so potent and so strong in attack, and it was just spread out, so it's not the focus. But there's this one part where it's just a little bit it's in tighter with the strings, and I thought it was actually quite fitting because once he was going to that more expressive moments where his voice was more hoarse.
I think it might have been the bass.
Maybe, I guess
It's
in the
very
higher
prominent.
register, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it's a thinner string, but yeah, that's something I noticed, and it was a very, very cool addition to this piece because it adds to the effect of him wanting to cry for help or him asking for help. So I thought that was pretty neat.
I like the style of, because when I'm listening to the song, I forget that the song is about, you know, this dire situation that the friend is going through, and I really like it when songs have like really more urgent and maybe sometimes depressing and tragic lyrics set to more casual, even more upbeat music, because something about that reminds me of how colorful life is, and sometimes, you know, the people that seem normal can, you know, have a lot of scars hidden inside. And yeah, that's almost become one of my favorite subgenres, or if you will, like happy music with depressing lyrics. And I think this one does it pretty well. When you look at the music video, yes, you see the blood stuff, but like it still feels like it's part of the music video experience. And the song is kind of like a smooth grooving dance piece. But if you listen to the lyrics, suddenly this other side, this very drastic other side comes out. And I think that's really cool.
They really prepared their hard beats, their strong beats within their rhythm structure really well, because it had a very organic feel. Boom, boom, bum, bum, like they added something in the mix to like ease into the next hit that made it feel prepared, so that your ears are ready to feel, yeah! And then also, like you said, that da-da-da-da-da is to make your ears think, like, there's something big coming. And then when they use that every single time before the drop, you think, you know, you even know, you don't have to think about it, but you know it's coming. You know the sweet stuff's coming, the spice.
No, I
The
love that. I feel
spice.
like that's the thing that would like catch me by surprise. If I'm like, yeah, we're just grooving, and then I like look up and I see like do, and I'm like, ah, like shit's really fast.
I still love what he does with his voice for the you know, it's got a lot of that like
That growl.
soul kind of yelling for that outreach, that ouch, yeah, that
The yelling for help.
calling for help.
Calling for
No, it's great, and he uses it as a sentence structure. Up up bam, that is Robert De Niro. Yeah, you have a short thing, you repeat the short thing, and then you have a longer thing. Theory,
Short,
right there.
long.
Actually, it's reverse, left to right, short, right into your face.
Is your shirt Lupin and Totoro as Han Solo and Chewbacca?
Yes, sir.
I love that shirt.
I'm so sorry.
That's
so
my
funny.
foot.
I just want to make sure the fans see it.